What is going on, everybody? It is Frankie here, and welcome to the 2024 NFL Week 4 predictions. It is that wonderful, glorious time of the week where the internet finds out my predictions for this week's NFL games, and then they take all their money and bet the opposite. You're welcome, America. Anyway, let's get right to it. Week 4 predictions. We start with the Thursday night game, the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Tough loss for Dallas. It almost turned into an incredible win there at the end, but they end up losing this one. This Cowboys rush defense is horrendous. They've allowed, 557 yards through 3 games? And I get today, okay, it's Derrick Henry, but still to be this bad through 3 games in, a problem there. They have, they had mistakes like CeeDee Lamb giving up the fumble. He looks like he's bad body language throughout the game. He looks like, I'm not going to say he's checked out, but right, it doesn't seem like he's enjoying playing right now with this Dallas team. And this loss was, I expected them to lose against Baltimore, but to get blown out like that in the first half, to see the offense, which looked so good against Cleveland, just be morbid until the fourth quarter. Dak had almost as many yards in the fourth quarter as he had in the first 3. Opposing quarterbacks have had 8 incomplete. In the last 2 games, opposing quarterbacks have had 8 incomplete passes against the Cowboys. People are just destroying Dallas here on offense. Whether it's Lamar, whether it's Carr, they're just running over Dallas right now. The only bright spot in this game was Brendan Arby's 65-yard kick. But yeah, Dallas coming off a rough loss there. The Giants, how about the Giants, folks? I was not expecting this, but they won this one. I am so happy that we have Malik Neighbors. He is awesome. He's everything I've wanted him to be. He's the first player in NFL history with 20 receptions and 3 receiving touchdowns in their first 3 games in NFL history. He made a couple, the touchdown catch he made, the first one where he got his toes in, was incredible. Daniel Jones, it's for a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who's really bad, it's very encouraging to know, for him, I'm sure, that, and yeah, I know that I still think Daniel Jones is bad, despite the fact that he's had 2 good games in a row. I'm sure it's very comforting for Daniel Jones that he can sit there and go, I don't know what to do. I'll just chuck it up to Neighbors and let's see what happens. And so far, it's worked. It's worked well, or at least in this game yesterday, it worked really well for them. And it was a great win for the Giants, and it was a rare bright spot, I feel like, in this season. I don't expect many good moments, including Thursday night. I know they're at home, and I know that Dallas is coming off a rough loss, but I expect more of this Dallas team. I don't expect that they're going to fall to 1-3. There's too much talent there. And the Giants, Jones has struggled in primetime games at home. So I'm going to take the Cowboys here, -5 points. And I expect that we're going to see better. I think it's going to be more like week 1 Dallas than week 2 or week 3 Dallas. I think Dak and CeeDee have a great game. And I don't see much of, again, that was a good win for the Giants. Maybe Neighbors makes a couple good catches, but I think there's still too many problems with this team. And starting with the quarterback position. Sorry, Daniel Jones, I'm not off you yet. And I just think in this game, Dallas will dominate. And they will show that they are still, despite all the struggles of yesterday, the more talented team. Give me the Cowboys -5. The New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are a 1.5 favorite. Did we overhype the New Orleans Saints offense? Maybe a little. We went from thinking, or I did, like, this offense is amazing. This is, I think, didn't I say like those? I made some ridiculous, like, early Chiefs. I think I said Mahomes Chiefs a couple days ago. And now they scored 12 points against the Eagles. Their O-line got completely destroyed. Their defense making terrible mistakes in this game. They're running into each other on the final play. For the first time this season, the Saints are in a little trouble. The first 2 games, they've cruised. And then it was a really rough game to watch against Philadelphia. There are parts of this game they could have won it because Philly was also having a terrible game, but they weren't able to, get it going. Offense really floundered for most of the game, especially when Eric McCoy went out. And then, they averaged 3 yards a carry against the Eagles' run defense. So, yeah, once that happened, the offense just never really was the same. And, yeah, they had mistakes in this game. The defense played well at least, but those 2 60-yard plays in this game killed them. And, yeah, that's what happened there. And the Saints are not the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs, at least yet. Atlanta, difficult loss. Another team that probably should have won their game. They had many chances. They had 2 drives late where they could have scored a touchdown. Now, if you think back on it, they could have kicked 2 field goals. They would have won the game, or at least had the lead. But they didn't do that. That was a bizarre play at the end of the game there. It's 4th and inches, and you run with a sweep. Quite interesting play there by the Atlanta coaching staff. The run game is averaging 3 yards a carry. And Robinson rushed for 31 yards on 16 carries. After 2 good games in a row, he had a really struggled there. We were expecting more from Atlanta. But no, at least, good game for Kirk Cousins. He reaches 40,000 passing yards. Congrats to him, at least on that. But it's the offense is going. I mean, yeah, they did lose 2 offensive linemen. They lost Drew Dahlman. They lost Caleb McRae. So they're going to need the offense to step up here in a way, and just wasn't able to happen here in this game. I'm going to take tough NFC South matchup, 2 teams on a loss. But you know what? I still think New Orleans. I think New Orleans in the first 2 games. Maybe that's not what they're going to be every week, but I think they are the better team right now. And I know it's on the road, but I'm expecting a Saints victory. I'm expecting that Kamara and Carr are going to bounce back in a nice way. And I don't hate Kirk Cousins anymore. He's a really good quarterback. But in this instance, I think this is going to be. I got to pick somebody, so I'm going to roll with the Saints here. I just think they have a more talented offense right now. Give me the Saints plus 1.5. Should be an exciting game over there in Atlanta. These division matchups are always good, but give me the Saints plus 1.5. The Los Angeles Rams and the Chicago Bears. The Bears are a 1.5 favorite. Talk about a great comeback for the Rams, a team that I still don't think is going anywhere this season, and I kind of wrote them off after last week, but that was a great comeback win against arguably the best team in the NFC. To come back down 10, Shanahan blowing a big lead. We've heard this. I think we've seen this before. I'll get to the Niners in a second. Despite all the injuries of this team, and Stafford and company still pulled out a monster win. Kyren Williams was one of the best players today. 3 touchdowns for him, and that was great. Bears struggle in this game. They left a lot of points on the board. Think about it. They had a missed field goal, a failed 2-point conversion. They had a terrible goal. They were at the 1, and they had a goal line stand against them. They got stuffed at the goal line. Terrible play calling there by the Bears. How do you not get it there? It's 1 yard. How do you not get there? They also were a half yard away from a Hail Mary for a touchdown. So you combine all that. That's like, what? That's 11 points. That's 16, 17. That's a lot of points. That's like 16, 17. The Bears had many chances to win this game, and they just couldn't get it done. I will say, Caleb Williams, he had a bad pick in this game, but he still looked good. He looked better. He looked better. He threw his first touchdown. He looked better, and that's what you're hoping for as a Bears fan. You're not expecting like this is going to be a Super Bowl caliber year. You're just hoping he gets better and better every game. In this game, he didn't. He wasn't the only rookie quarterback that looked better this week. But we'll get to all that in a second. But yeah, I mean, how about the Colts are giving up 500 rushing yards in their first 2 games, and yet you throw the ball 52 times. Like, you don't need Caleb to do that much. And it wasn't until the end of the game that they finally got those late touchdowns that they were able to get something going. But I don't understand why they weren't, running the ball more. Although they did run it there when they 4 straight runs out of the shotgun at the 4 and they can't get a touchdown. And a bad game for DeAndre Swift, who's really, they signed him for a $24 million deal, and it's not been great so far. Just 20 yards. What does he have? 58 yards in his first 3 games? It's not. Eagles may have dodged a bullet there, but tough loss there for the Bears. This is an interesting one. It's 1.5. I'm gonna roll with the Rams. I think I don't. Caleb is not there yet. He's getting there. I don't know if they're gonna have another game like this. And yeah, I really question the Bears' play calling, especially after what happened here this past game. I'm gonna roll with the Rams and the offense. I'm gonna roll with Stafford. And despite all the injuries, despite all the problems with this Rams team, I think there's another win in them. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I do think that there's another win in this team. I think Stafford's got another one in him. I think the Bears will be able to make enough plays on defense to maybe not have Caleb make Caleb struggle a little bit. Give me the Rams plus 1.5. Very interesting game there in Chicago, but I'll take the Rams. The Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 2.5-point favorites. Sam Darnold, MVP. Well, let's start the conversation. We need to have a conversation. These are 2 great coaches are playing in this game. O'Connell, what a sensational job that he's turned Sam Darnold into this behemoth on offense. And also, Flores, amazing job coaching this defense. But both of these guys right now are doing exceptional jobs of getting the most out of both of their units. But Sam Darnold has looked, we can't call it a fluke now. It's been 3 straight games. Texans are a good team. Texans were, one of the best teams heading into this week, and they got completely shellacked by Minnesota, which was absolutely stunning. Think about the 3. Sam Darnold has multiple touchdown passes in 3 straight games, which is the longest streak of his career. And think about it. They won on the road against the Giants. They defeated the Niners, one of the best teams in the NFC, and now they beat one of the best teams in the AFC. 3 straight wins. It's been 5 years since the Vikings won by 24 points or more. That's crazy. That's been almost 5 years since that happened. They just blitzed C.J. Stroud, 16 on 37 of his dropbacks, and on those plays, he only completed 8 of 15 for 94 yards, including a touchdown, a pick, and a sack. Sacked 3 times by Jonathan Greenard. they just were just so aggressive. They really got to Stroud throughout the game, and it led to this victory. So impressed with the Vikings here, and it looks like they might be a 4-3 record with here. The Packers, on the other hand, they may only need one more week without Jordan Love, but Malik Willis has done such an amazing job in his presence. Way better than anyone thought he was going to be. And how about this? In his 2 games, he has 438 total yards, 3 total touchdowns, no turnovers, and a 73% completion rating, and 122.7 passer rating. And in this game, 275 total yards, 13 for 19, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 120.9 passer rating. That's what he did here against Tennessee. Matt LaFleur, Coach of the Year. Let's have that conversation as well. This season was about to be on the fritz, losing Love for who knows how long, and yet this Willis guy that no one trusts. And you turn him into a pretty decent quarterback. And he's going to get paid by somebody. If he, I don't know how many more games, but this is going to get him paid. Somebody's going to take a chance on him in the offseason, just based off these 2 games alone. Somebody's going to think, I can fix that guy. So, great job by LaFleur and this entire Packers team. They dropped 30 there on Tennessee, and also a special job by the defense. Jair Alexander with the pick 6. They have 8 sacks, their second most in a game since 2005. The interceptions, 7 picks this year, including 3 by Xavier McKinney. They've really, really stepped it up. And Emmanuel Wilson had his first rushing touchdown. So that was good to see there. Division matchup at home. I'm taking Green Bay. 2.5 points. Like this Green Bay team more right now. Somebody's got to. I think Love will be back. And if Love is back, I'm definitely taking Green Bay. If not, it's a little bit more difficult. But you know what? I'm going to trust the floor at home. I'm going to trust this. Somebody's got to get here. It's 2 teams that are playing really well. Someone's got to lose, unfortunately. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. And I'm going to say Green Bay is the somebody that wins. Whether it's Willis or Love, but I feel way more confident if it's Love. I think Green Bay's offense gets it done in Lambeau. Give me the Packers -2.5. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. The Steelers are 2-point favorites on the road. Justin Fields is QB1. I don't want to hear any more discussion. I don't want to hear any more. I don't care what Mike Tomlin says. The way Fields has played so far, he's got to be QB1. I know that wasn't what Russell Wilson had in mind when he came here, but you watch him right now. You watch Fields, the way he's controlling the field, how he looks so much better. He does not look like Chicago Fields. He looks so much more improved. 25 for 32, 245 passing yards, 2 total touchdowns, 1 pick today, 96 passer rating. He ran for a touchdown. Just a great day for him. He's making great throws in the center of the field. He's got to be, again, sorry, Russ, and maybe this will have to be a discussion that will be had if the Steelers do start Fields, which I think they will, because I think they have to. I don't think Mike Tomlin's an idiot. Is Russ going to stay on the sideline? Is he going to ask for a trade? All these questions that Steelers have to ask. But for now, Fields has got to be it. He's the hot hand right now. You got to ride with him. And then also, how about this defense? How about the Steelers defense? First team in the last 20 years to allow 300 or fewer yards and 10 or fewer points in each of their first 3 games. Now, some of that had to do with Justin Herbert, getting injured throughout the game, midway through the game. But hey, that still has you still got to give credit to T.J. Watt, who is just all over. I mean, he's all over everybody right now. It's he and Aiden Hutchinson are going to be neck and neck for Defensive Player of the Year. But yeah, there's just a dominating Steelers performance right now, and the offense is playing real well. And how about this Steelers team being 3-0? Who had this at the beginning of the year? Great job, fantastic job by Mike Tomlin. Indianapolis, on the other hand, they won this game, but I have no idea how. Jonathan Taylor, that's how they won this game. Anthony Richardson, they won in spite of him. 2 picks, 2 horrible picks, including especially the first one, which, I mean, there's 3 guys there in the red zone. There's 3 guys right there, and you just throw, and you just hope for a prayer. I know he's young. He's the youngest quarterback. This is only his 7th start. But you would hope that he would be a little bit more improved by now, and he just hasn't been. Just a real concerning performance. But they still got the win. The defense shut down Chicago. And this is what this Colts team is going to be. A lot of growing pains this year. And you just hope that Richardson's going to be able to learn from them and improve going forward. But it helps for him when he's got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield with 23 carries for 110 yards. It helps there. Helps a lot. So Steelers, Colts here in Indianapolis. I'm going to ride with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Love how the way Fields has been playing. The defense, I mean, you think Richardson's been struggling before. He's going to be just melting when TJ Watt is looking right at him. So I think Pittsburgh wins this one comfortably, in command, on the road. Give me the Steelers, -2. The Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. The Jets are 7.5-point favorites. I want to give an apology because I was critical of Bo Nix the first 2 games, saying whatever, this guy, blah, blah, blah. He shouldn't, he's bad. He's maybe in the CFL. And somebody in the comments, I forget his name, maybe he'll pop up and say who he was in the comments, but he said, hey, why are you being so hard on Bo Nix? Caleb Williams is, Caleb Williams is struggling and you're giving him a pass. And I thought about it and I was like, no, you're right. You're right. I gotta be more kind to Bo Nix. So apologies to Bo Nix. And you know what? Bo Nix played well. And this was definitely a surprise. I did not have this coming. Against Tampa. Against been a pretty good team up until the first couple weeks of the season. He looked good. 216 yards. He ran for a touchdown. Still hasn't thrown a touchdown, but he showed signs of improvement. And that's what you want. And I mean, also Sean Payton, it seems like just owns the Bucs. No matter what year it is, no matter what team it is, Sean Payton has just a tendency to just own Tampa. And he showed that again here today. Or yesterday. So brilliant performance out of him. And Bo Nix, wish you the best there. Also, sick juke on that touchdown by McLaughlin. I had no idea how he got in the end zone, but I was so impressed with that. But I'm not picking Denver to win this next game because, God, I'm loving the Jets right now. And I haven't said that in a long, long time. Ryan Fitzpatrick was the last time. I was like, man, I love watching the Jets. Like the first year of Ryan Fitzpatrick when they almost made the playoffs. But Rodgers is everything we expected. He looks like, first game, I already was checking off the rest. He does not look like a quarterback who just had Achilles surgery and he's 40 years old. He doesn't look like that. 27 for 35. His mobility was still terrific. All these years. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers, the person, Aaron Rodgers, the conspiracy theorist, Aaron Rodgers, the potential vice presidential candidate, Aaron Rodgers, the doctor, Aaron Rodgers, the scientist. Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, is damn good. He's one of the best to ever do it. And he's shown that again. And in the playoffs, you can argue about that, whatever. But you see this at age 40, and he's still making throws like this, and he's still playing well, and he's still escaping pressure, and he's still making great throws. The third touchdown that he had, what was that, to Garrett Wilson? The pinpoint accuracy he had in making that throw. How many guys can do that? So that was great. The atmosphere in New York, I had a buddy of mine that went to the game, and he was talking about how nuts the fans were. It was just a great moment. Seeing Garrett Wilson score that first touchdown was cool. Will McDonald had another good game. The Jets defense, the Jets pass rush, had 7 sacks? I mean, it was the Patriots offensive line, but still it was very impressive there. And you feel confident about this Jets team? You feel hopeful about this Jets team? This gives me every reason to not pick the Jets, but damn it, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to fall for it. I'm going to take the Jets. My 7.5 is a big number, but I trust Rodgers here at home to deliver another exceptional performance. And I think this defensive line is going to make Bo Nix run around a little bit in the pocket. I'm expecting another good performance from Rodgers, from Wilson, from the whole Jets crew. Give me the Jets minus 7.5. And give me the Jets going to 3-1, which I can't remember the last time that was. That 2009 maybe. I cannot remember the last time this team went 3-1 to start a season. They're on the verge of that if they can get by Denver, and I say they will. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites. The Eagles, baffling to me. I have no clue how the hell this team won this game. Despite Nick Sirianni's best efforts, despite Jalen Hurts having a 7th straight game with an interception, having a terrible fumble. He has 26 turnovers since the start of last year. Since some of the bizarre play calls, the fake 4th down, not going for the tush push there. It's like, why? Just tush push it, okay? It works every time. Why not? You try to go cute with that. That was bizarre. The block punt. Sirianni is just, it seems like he's completely lost it right now on the sideline. He has just so many stupid decisions. Going for it on 4th and short late in the 2nd and in the 3rd, and it doesn't work out either time. You finally go for a field goal attempt, and it's 60 yards in the 4th quarter, and Jake Elliott couldn't get it done. Just been terrible game management the last couple of weeks. Despite all of that, despite all those problems, this Eagles team still won. One, because Saquon Barkley, a couple of reasons. One, Saquon Barkley might be the best acquisition made so far this offseason. Incredible. The 65-yard touchdown, exactly what they needed. He got the touchdown on the final drive there. Goddard, great on the last drive there, even though the Saints players ran into each other. Hurts had a really good final drive there. I don't know why he's throwing the ball so much when you have Saquon Barkley in the backfield. He's throwing the ball 38 times. Like, I don't want Saquon to completely get killed over there, but there's no reason for you to be throwing 38 times when you got Saquon there. Come on, balance it out a little bit, Nick. Hurts would be so much better if you just stop with the stupid mistakes. Like, every time those happen, it's just killing this team. And the defense also took on one of the best offenses in the last 2 weeks in New Orleans and really stopped them. Credit to Vic Fangio for shutting down this top-ranked offense. They kept Alvin Kamara to 3.3 yards per carry. And Jalen Carter also had a pretty great game, which is why he's able to talk smack after the game. So great win there for Philadelphia. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, I was not expecting this at all, but boy, they got shellacked by Denver. Their defense, after really shutting down in Detroit, they surrendered 216 passing yards and 45 rushing yards. It was a real performance that made you think, all right, Tampa's not there yet. The O-line really struggled throughout the game. The defense, and yeah, I know there were some guys, they lost B2B, they lost Cansey. Still couldn't get any pass rush. Mayfield threw an interception early. Except for the early touchdown to Godwin, there was just really nothing that happened in that game for Tampa. They just completely outmatched, which was surprising against Denver, but that was maybe just a Sean Payton masterclass. Who knows? But now they go up against an Eagles team that got a win, kept their season alive, I guess, looked better. And even though Tampa Bay is at home, I'm going to roll with the Eagles because I still think the Eagles are the better team. Maybe not the better coach team right now because, boy, Sirianni is... boy, it's really rough. Eagles fans, I'm so sorry. I understand your frustration. I'm going to take the Eagles here because the talent of Hurts and Barkley and everybody else on that team is going to be enough to overwhelm Tampa Bay. Eagles -2. It's going to be a fun one on the road, but I'm taking the Eagles -2.5. Give me Philadelphia. The New England Patriots and the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are 10.5-point favorites, despite the fact that they are 1-2. New England, these teams are the same record, which is crazy to think about. Who had that at the beginning of the year? Their offensive line is crap. You understand why they have Jacoby Brissett out there, because Jacoby Brissett's a sacrificial lamb. Drake May will get killed behind that O-line when he eventually gets out there. It's going to be David Carr all over again. So I understand. I poor Brissett because he's got nobody there to protect him. I know it's a rebuilding year for New England, but you would hope that the offensive line would be better. It's just not. Tough one for Niners. All right, let me just start off by saying this. I've been critical of Brock Purdy. I've said I'm not sure if he's the guy. I don't know why after today, but I'm ready to say after today, I no longer have any doubts about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is a great NFL quarterback. I'm ready to say it after today's game. He had no McCaffrey, no Samuel, no Kittle, and he still, early on in this game, was just throwing absolute bombs. Jennings, of all people, with 3 touchdowns. He had, and it wasn't his fault, it was not his fault that the Niners lost today. 6 drops, 6. Just cut Ronnie Bell. He is completely useless. I felt so bad. And the Niners defense really struggled, especially the secondary, letting the Rams get back in the game like that. So I have no more doubts about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. Shout out to him. He's going to be a threat for years to come. And as for the Niners here, yeah, I know they had a lot of injuries, but they still should have won that game. They still should have won that game. Up 10. It's a Kyle Shanahan tradition. Up 10 and you blow it. Just letting the Rams get the fake punt. Just not being able to stop them. Having the big pass that Stafford threw later in the game that led to the tying touchdown. Just nothing. Just nothing down the stretch. And that's a concern. And this team needs to win this game. They're motivated now. They know they have to win this game against New England. And I think they will. I think they'll win this one easily. 10.5 is a big number. But after watching New England's offensive line, I'm just thinking San Francisco's just going to have their way with them. Like, they're just going to mow them down on defense. And I expect that the offense will improve. I don't know who's going to be back. I don't know. McCaffrey's not going to be back for a while. I don't know who else is going to be back. But I still expect that San Francisco, with Purdy at the helm, will be controlling and will win this one easily. If they get their guys back, great, but I don't think they need it against that Patriots offensive line. I think that's going to be a real concern for them. It is a concern, but I think it will definitely be a concern in this game. Give me the Niners -10.5. Here's a game that I wouldn't bet on if you paid me. The Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Browns are a point favorite. Tough loss for the Browns. This was pretty horrendous. You start off, forced the fumble. Watson 1-play touchdown to Cooper. 11 seconds. Giants are reeling at this point. There's no reason you shouldn't have lost this game. But you did. You fumbled 2 snaps. Watson fumbled, at one point he fumbled the snap. The O-line was trash. And yes, there were 3 injuries. Teller, Hudson, and Willis all missed out. So, you had to shuffle, but still. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why. But still, you're up. You were near touchdown favorites, and you're down 14 at halftime. Despite the great start that you had, the Giants were just blitzing the Browns all day, and they could do nothing to adjust to it. And Deshaun is not good. I mean, I'm perfectly happy not seeing him perform well, considering he's a terrible person. But still, it's like a different guy. And I was thinking, all right, maybe last week, maybe he's found the mountain. No. He had it early, and then he just lost it completely throughout the game. And then the Raiders. You get killed by Carolina. You have Antonio Pierce in the postgame talking about how there are guys that it seems like are kind of quitting. He's assuming, he kind of insinuated that. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Devontae Adams. It sounds like he's checked out. So it seems like this could be the tide is turning here on the Raiders, and it could be, a mutiny for Las Vegas. So I would not pick this game because I gotta trust either Deshaun Watson or a Raiders team that looks like it's on the verge of having a collapse. Someone's got to win. I'll take the Browns. Sure. Why not? They're a point favorite. They can't be this bad. I guess they are, but don't be surprised if the Raiders win this one by 3 touchdowns because it's Deshaun. He really is the X factor in this game. If Deshaun plays okay, the Browns should win. If he plays terribly, they'll get blown out. But I'll take the Browns. Give me the Browns -1. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites. Kansas City was not a pretty victory, but they got it done. Not an impressive win, but they still did it. Defense really helped step up for them, despite the fact that Chiefs are not making many big plays in this game. They had one play of more than 17 yards against Atlanta. The big play, which we've known the Chiefs for, whether it was Hill or Kelsey, whoever it was, that was kind of their bread and butter. They really haven't had that so far. And, maybe Kelsey's older. They don't have as many deep threats, but still Pacheco's injured. Still, Steele and Perney did a nice job there on the rushing front. I mean, they had to settle for 3 field goals in this game. We had to see Harrison Butker, to women's sheer horror. We had to see, to every woman across the country, sheer horror. We had to see Harrison Butker out there 3 times kicking field goals. 4, actually. 3, because he missed an extra point. But the Chiefs are not finishing drives. That's concerning. They're still winning games, so there's plenty of teams right now that'd be like, oh, go. I would take all that because at least we're 3-0. I'd have all the problems the Chiefs have because at least they're 3-0. But this doesn't look like the juggernaut Chiefs. They're getting wins, which is the most important thing, but they don't look like the juggernaut Chiefs team of yesteryear. But I still expect they're going to turn it around because they are the Chiefs. I don't know if Kelsey's going to turn it around because I think he's on I think Father Time's catching up to him. But I don't expect. I still think he should have retired last year. I know his brother retired, but I think he should have retired last year. We'll see if he can turn it around. But I just think he's older now, and I just don't think he has it. But the Chiefs are still winning. That's all that matters. Chargers, brutal loss for them. Especially because Herbert went down midway through the game. We don't know. I mean, they had him out there. I mean, he missed 2 weeks with this foot injury. Now he got another injury here. I mean, they had Taylor Heineke come in and he got sacked 3 times. You're gonna have to rely on the running game. It seems like next week, if Herbert's out, we don't know if he is. I mean, he was in a walking boot, so maybe possibly. And not only that, you lose Bosa, you lose Alt, you lose Slater. It's So there's a lot of reasons why the Chargers should not win this game. And I'm not expecting them to win this game. I think the Chiefs win. I think the Chiefs go to 4-0. But it is a home game. It's a division matchup. And 8.5 is a lot of points. And the Chiefs are not playing particularly awesome right now. So I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to take the Chargers plus 8.5 to cover. I think Kansas City wins, but the Chargers cover. Because as I mentioned, 8.5 is a big, big number. And I expect that the Chargers are going to make it close, but not close enough to win. Give me the Chargers plus 8.5. The Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins. The Titans are a 1.5 favorite. This is another game that I hate the fact that we're all going to have to watch this next week because it's the Monday night game. So we're not going to have any other choice. And there's no baseball on because baseball starts the next day. So we have no choice but to watch Titans Dolphins next week. Good for all of us. God, Will Levis is... He's not improved much. Terrible pick 6. The O-line's bad. Dolphins, on the other hand... They lose Tua. Skylar Thompson comes out there. He sucks. I was expecting even a little bit. I don't know why I was expecting much, but Skylar Thompson doesn't work. They bring Tim Boyle out there. I'm talking about players that, Tim Boyle. Who? All right, sure. You have Tyler Huntley out there. Maybe he can do something. No offense in this game. They didn't register 100 yards until the second drive of the third quarter. They were 1 for 12 on third down attempts. And I get it. It's tough without Tua, but we saw what Matt LaFleur could do with a backup quarterback. There's some other teams, I'm not saying they should all do that, but they should at least be able to put up something. And this was just nothing. They didn't put him in a position to win there. Just a bad start. I expect that Thompson will be out there. Maybe someone else. It won't be Tua. But this is going to be horrendous. Will Levis versus Tim Boyle. Talk about just drink yourself to death watching this game, folks. If you bet on this game, you are a compulsive gambler. If you're betting on these 2 crap teams, or crap quarterbacks at least. I'll take the Dolphins. They're at home, and the talent, it's got to be better. You can't be this bad with this amount of talent on your offense. You can't be. I mean, I know they did today, or yesterday, but you can't. I'll take the Dolphins plus 1.5, but I will not look forward to watch this. I'm not looking forward to it at all. Put on maybe Gilmore Girls instead. The Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are 4.5-point favorites at home. Seattle, what a big win that was. And yes, it was because Skylar Thompson was out there instead of Tua. But they looked much better. The Seahawks are 3 folks. There's not many 3-0 teams in the NFL. Seattle is one of them. Sherburnett, big day for him. 2 touchdowns. Geno with a marvelous 71-yard touchdown to Metcalf. It was not a pretty game. There was a lot of penalties. 11 penalties for Seattle. They went 2 quarters without scoring a point. But they got the win. And, they did what they needed to do. Geno did what he needed to do here. It was an impressive win for the Seahawks team. So good for them on that front. But now they got a tough stretch coming up. In the next 6 weeks, they got to face guys like Purdy, Stafford, and Allen. Not easy. Not easy. And in this game, they got to go up against Jared Goff, who apparently is a runner now, as we saw him finish the game off with a nice running play there to clinch it for Detroit. Lions win against Arizona. Shout out to the hook and ladder, which we never see anymore. The only time I very rarely see that in the NFL. I know that the Dolphins did that in the 81 Epic in Miami against the Chargers, but I'd like to see it more. That was great. Amon Round, who catches it and laterals it to Gibbs. That was great. You're going to need Goff to cut down the turnovers because he was good today, except for that. The interception to Gardeck in the third quarter, almost threw a pick 6 in the second quarter as well. That was only because of a questionable call. I guess it was the right call, but I just hated that. 4 interceptions by Goff so far, the most in the first 3 games of the season. So that's an issue there. But he was able to be bailed out by the Lions defense. They were nearly shut out in the second half. And this was the Cardinals offense that everyone was really buying into because of what happened with, the week before with Marvin Harrison looking good, with Kyler Murray. So I think people were expecting more. And for Detroit to play that well was very impressive. So in this one here, I'm going to roll with Detroit at home. I think they're the better team right now. And even though Seattle, 3-0, I just think Detroit at home and with Goff under center and with that defense is really going to step up and deliver a victory here for the Lions. I think Detroit keeps the good times rolling here in the NFC North. Give me the Lions -4.5 over Seattle. That's it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to Sunday to make sure you subscribe down below. Now, before any of you in the comments scream at me, the predictions for Bengals, Panthers, Jaguars, Texans, Commanders, Cardinals, and what's the last one there? I gotta have this one right here. Bills and Ravens. Those picks will not be available until tomorrow. I'm gonna wait till the Monday night games, which is the Commanders versus the Bengals, and then you also have the Bills against the Jaguars, I believe. So those are the Monday night games. I'm gonna wait until those games are done before I make my picks for those games. So stay tuned for this channel tomorrow to watch those. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe down below. I will be back tomorrow with those picks. See you guys then, and don't forget to check out Frankie Baseball. The Yankees are closing in on an AL East title, and we're going to have full coverage of their postseason and everything else going on with the Yankees later on. Check that out. And also check out my podcast that I do with a couple guys, including Pinstripe Territory, Derek, the MLY Football Show. Cover all the football teams in New York as well as everything going on in the league, so check that out. Take care, and God bless.